my
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy. Here I am talking with my dear friend and colleague, Holly Bertone, who is the CEO of her own company that has to do with gratitude and breast cancer. And this is something that is a radical concept. And I don't think we focus on it enough, and we need to. So, Holly, welcome. I'm so happy and honored to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Carol. And yeah, so if anyone has any questions that's watching, will I be able to see them? Or
I'll be able to see them. Okay. And I will present them. So ladies, if you're watching live and you have some questions, please feel free to post a comment and we will answer them. Holly, why don't you tell a little bit of the community, a little bit about your story, because it's an unusual story. I think a lot of women can relate to your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And I really was thinking today with our time together to share my story, my background, because I think it is such a powerful journey, and through a lot of ups and downs, and then really talk about one of my favorite topics. It's a technical, medical, fancy science term called emotional sludge. And I really want to get into that. And then we'll walk through a special meditation that I actually use with my clients.
Perfect.
So I'm excited to get into all of that. And yeah, so I'm a gratitude coach, and I help women to find their happiness again, to get energy back, and to really develop that mental strength and that mental resilience as they're going through a difficult time, or after they've gone through a difficult time. And as a breast cancer survivor, and also Hashimoto's autoimmune survivor, and chronic fatigue survivor, and thriver of all three, a thrice thriver.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
But they often go together, inflammation, autoimmune, breast cancer. It's the triad, right? And you have managed to not just survive, but really thrive through and after them. So congratulations to you.
Yeah, thank you. And I know sometimes people hear gratitude and they, initially they're like, oh, that's just that fluffy thing that people just kind of throw around, or, oh, I can't be grateful. Have you met what I'm going through right now? And so that's why I really want to just start right off the bat to say that where I'm at today is an intentional decision, because it was not always like that. And I came from that place before diagnosis. I was the quintessential overachiever. I was the chief of staff. And this is a private forum, so I'll share the place. I used to work for the FBI, and I was the chief of staff for one of their national security agencies or branches. And so it was a very high power, high stress management position.
I just have to say, just a second, just pause. Can you imagine, ladies, what that was like? Do you watch Jack Ryan? Do you watch some of these FBI series? I mean, I can only imagine the stress and everything that you were holding in your body in that job.
Yeah. And it wasn't just the stress from the job. It was also just seeing evil on a daily basis.
Yeah. That gives you a distorted perspective of life. Yeah. And now you're seeing the opposite of evil.
Right.
So that's beautiful.
But I also lived this lifestyle. So I wasn't just, climbing the corporate ladder and having all of that, stress from my job. I was an ex-Terra triathlete. So I raced mountain bikes and triathlons, rock climbed, and I did Muay Thai, which is like boxing. So I had this adrenaline junkie lifestyle, and I traveled everywhere. And I thought I was quote unquote healthy because I was, racing, right? I had we were just talking about our jigglies. But I had a 6-pack abs. Like I had this athletic body.
Not easy to have it.
Healthy, right? Mm-hmm. I thought that was healthy, which I realized, it also went along with drinking a 6-pack of Coca-Cola.
Oh my God.
It went along. I mean, I would eat a bag of M&Ms every day for lunch. Now, peanut, of course, because protein. I had to get my protein in. Right? Like my idea of health was so distorted. But that was kind of where I was at. And then
that's a big transition.
Yeah. And ice cream for dinner. Like, this was, drinking lots of wine. I mean, this was that was where I was at. That was my 30s.
Which is the normal for normal standard American diet. It's not abnormal. Now we think it's horrible and abnormal, but then it's like, yeah, this is how everybody does it, especially in your world. And the standard American diet literally quadruples the cancer rate. So now we know about that, right?
And sugar.
Yeah, don't forget that. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what brought me up to this place of, I felt the lump on my own. I just rolled over one day and it was right about here-ish. And I'm like, I knew that ladies, oh my goodness. The second I felt it, I knew it's that quiet voice deep down that tells you when something is wrong. Mm-hmm. And I knew that something was wrong. And the logical side of my brain took over. Oh, you're 38 years old. It's nothing. You're too young for this. It's probably just a something, right? But deep down, I knew what it was. And I got checked right away. It was the mammogram and the biopsy and all the tests and everything like that. And on my 39th birthday, I was commuting home from DC and I was on the metro train and I got the phone call.
Oh, wow.
From my doctor's office, a doctor who I'd never seen or talked to before. And he said, oh, ladies, you're going to love this. No, you're not going to love this.
You're going to be able to relate to it.
Say that sarcastically. Okay. So I'm on this crowded train. It is August. It's like 90 degrees outside. Right. We're sweating like pigs. And this is back in 2010. So I had my old flip phone, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm calling to let you know that the test came back. You have breast cancer. Don't worry. It's the good kind. You're going to need to go find a doctor. Good luck.
Oh my goodness. It's just the things that come out of doctors' mouths because they've been doing this for too long. They've lost a level of sensitivity. It's like, are you in a place where you can talk? Do you have privacy? Do you want to take a moment and call me back? I mean, I'm so sorry. That was not great.
Yeah. So that was how I received my diagnosis. And we'll get into this in a little bit, but because it was my 39th birthday and because I'm that girl who is super sarcastic and snarky. I like to say snarktastic. I don't know if that's a real word.
Well, I like that word, snarktastic.
Yeah. Very sassy. I'm that girl. So I started joking right away. Like, I was very irreverent. The humor obviously is a coping mechanism, mm-hmm. but I was very irreverent. And the fact that I was diagnosed on my birthday, from almost day one, I would joke and say, yeah, some girls get earrings and flowers on their birthday. My gift was breast cancer. And I'll get into this in a little bit more, but here's where, let's just start with number one. Our bodies and our brains listen to everything we say. Mm-hmm. They listen to our emotions. They listen to our words. They listen to our feelings. They listen to everything we say. And I said that, granted, it was super sarcastic, but I said that over and over and over again, that breast cancer was my gift, my birthday gift. I said it to myself so many times that at one point I started to believe it. And this was back in 2010. I had no clue what it meant, but at some point I'm like, this is a gift and I don't know who, what, where, why, when, or how, but I'm just going to anchor that into my soul. And I felt peace. And that was kind of the start of this journey. But let me back up for a second because, and Dr. Carol, I love what you do in your program and, looking at this from a holistic perspective, because when I went into that first appointment with my surgeon, she put her hand on my knee and she said, lightning hit. At 39 years old, thinking in my head that I had a healthy lifestyle.
Wow.
I'm healthy. How could this happen? And it wasn't a why me or woe is me. It was an analytical brain going to town saying, I don't understand how this happened. I'm healthy. Right. from her perspective, she was trying to soften the blow, but those words did a disservice.
Oh.
Because for years, I did not take any responsibility. And at that time, I needed to hear those words. I needed to hear that lightning hit, that it was just some kind of random thing that happened. But it did not give me space to explore anything. It didn't give me the space to explore my diet or my lifestyle or stress or emotions or toxins or this soup, that creates in our body that creates this disease. And
which is what we focus on now. You do and I do. I mean, it's not
and
just
that's why
one thing.
That's why I love your program and I love what you do for these ladies, because it is so important. Doctors still today just kind of, they put you through the motions and they don't talk about this stuff. Going through treatment, my diet was, I went through surgery, chemo, radiation. The whole time through chemo, right? I was living off of Dairy Queen blizzards, mint chocolate chip, and Ore-Ida French fries. The crinkle. They had to be the crinkle.
Wow.
That's what I lived off of during chemo. And I know you're cringing, Dr. Carol.
Yeah. Stop calling me Dr. Carol. Just call me Carol. It's fun. I mean, that's just your poor body, honey. I mean, that's what you were craving. Right. Salt and fat, and sugar, but it was not anything that we now know we need to be doing to reduce side effects of chemotherapy. Yeah. So you have a very strong body, because this was a while ago and you got through treatment.
Yeah. And then, so after treatment ended, I kept getting sicker. And I'll shorten this because I really want to get into some of the emotional stuff too. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis.
Which I just have to say, it's amazing that you were able to get that diagnosis even after breast cancer, because I'm sure a lot of the phrases you got were, oh, here's an antidepressant. You're just having reactions to the treatment and the diagnosis. Let's just write you a script for antidepressants. Or don't worry, this is still a side effect of chemo. You're going to get over it. Or are you working too hard? None of like, how are you eating? What's your stress level? So how were you finally able to get the diagnosis of Hashimoto's?
Yeah, well, here's what happened was I knew something was wrong. Again, that voice, right?
You have that voice and you listen to it. Thank goodness. So we all have to listen to the deep inner voice.
Yeah. I like to call it unwavering knowingness. That's my own kind of personal word.
That's beautiful. Beautiful, Holly.
So I go to support group and these ladies are out running these 5K races or walking these 5K races. Like a year ago, I was standing on a podium getting a medal around my neck, racing a mountain bike. And today I can barely get out of bed.
Okay. Something is really the matter.
Something's wrong. And the doctors were like, oh, after everything you've been through, you're going to be tired. And I said, no, this isn't tired. This is
beyond tired. Right.
Yeah. And so many women in all the years since, so this was 2010, 2011, so many women in the years since I've met have those dual diagnoses. One before, one after, it doesn't matter, but so many, not just from an autoimmune perspective, but the Hashimoto's or some type of thyroid, something specific to the thyroid. But the other thing too was that, and I know you've probably heard the, people talk about, whether it's God or spirit or whatever, and, you hear that whisper and you're supposed to listen, and you don't. And then, you hear someone talking and you ignore that. And it's not until your body is literally screaming at you and forcing you to stop. And for me, I didn't slow down.
Oh my goodness.
I kept my speed during cancer treatment. I would take the day off for chemo. And I think it was the 2 days after that I would take the day off as well. But I would go into the office. I'd close the door and take a nap in the middle of the day if I had to. I'd go in on weekends.
My goodness.
Little guy, and he would, come in with me and hang out. And yeah, I mean, I kept going. I was at the gym, and granted, exercise is good, but I was pushing myself in the gym the way that I was, I wasn't racing.
Oh, so alarming. It's amazing something, you just didn't collapse on the gym floor. I mean, it's like you've used up all your energy and you're maxed out on your energy credit card, and you're still like lifting and
you think about it, like the diet and pushing myself at the job, and then and going through all the cancer treatment and pushing yeah, you're right. I am shocked that I survived, and but my body just kept screaming. And over the years, the Hashimoto's, really the biggest symptom was the chronic, and I say chronic fatigue, I'm talking debilitating, bone crushing fatigue, not just I'm tired. It was a fatigue that is, unless you've experienced it, is unexplainable.
So I think one of the messages here I want to share, ladies, is when you listen to Holly's story, is if you are feeling fatigue, do not be written off with, oh, it's normal, you're going to be tired, here's an antidepressant. You go to a doctor who will listen to you, and then you say to the doctor, I need you to work me up for thyroid disease, and not just normal, but Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And I want a comprehensive thyroid panel. Do not let them gaslight you and say this is normal.
Right.
Because yes, there is fatigue that is normal after chemo, but not as Holly is describing. And don't hesitate to be what they call a difficult, I don't even like to use the word patient. Don't hesitate to be termed that. And if this doctor is not listening to you, you have the right to fire that doctor and move on to somebody who will listen to you. Yeah. That's very important. A message that I'm sure Holly shares all the time with her community. It's really critical.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because it is so important that we take that ownership in that and really empower ourselves to speak up. And, if we don't speak up, who's going to speak up for us? Like, this is it. This is all we have.
Right.
And we need to be our best advocate for our own health. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened next?
Right. So the fatigue got so bad in 2017. I was forced to resign. I was falling asleep at work. I had all of the official paperwork filled out, so I was legally protected, but they somehow figured out a way to illegally rescind my medical leave and basically block everything, make my life as miserable as humanly possible.
It's the FBI. What do you expect? They did to you, like, all of a sudden you're an enemy combatant,
right?
As opposed to somebody who's dedicated how many years of your career to helping them. That's, I'm sorry, that's atrocious behavior.
13. Yeah. As we like to call it in the industry, PNG, which is persona non grata. Yeah. So that was, in hindsight, obviously a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
But that forced me to really take a hard look at my life, because at that point I was all but bedridden.
Oh my goodness.
I was no longer a successful career woman. I lost that piece of my identity. Mm-hmm. I could barely function as a stepmother and as a wife. And so I was losing that piece of my identity. I mean, rock bottom number 3 was the worst, because it was when everything came crashing down, and the whisper to the talk to the screen. This was beyond the screen. This was my body just like, I am done. Like, the
medical emergency.
Yeah.
Really a medical emergency.
Yeah. You have pushed too much. And my body was just like, I am done. And this gave me a chance to, first of all, marinate in my own misery for a while, because I think that was necessary.
Yeah. I just like that phrase, marinate in your own misery for a while, because it's necessary. The key word in that phrase is a while. Yeah. You don't want to stay stuck. And if you're finding yourself stuck, then you need to reach out to someone such as Holly or myself, because sometimes it's hard to get out of that marinade soup yourself. But so here you were marinating in your own misery for a while, and eventually you were able to, who helped you get out? What happened?
When I was growing up, my mother had this phrase, and she always said, "It builds fortitude." And it was just her life mantra. She had Addison's disease and she had her own health struggles, but she always said, "It builds fortitude." And I kind of adopted that. And I always thought that it was just staying strong and just kind of fighting through. And I really leaned into that. And that was finding that mental strength to take those steps to move forward. And so I did the kind of traditional things. I cleaned up or I became a certified natural health coach only to coach myself, because I was like, I need to get better. And traditional doctors are not helping me. Traditional medicine was failing me. So I was like, okay, let me go be a certified natural health coach only to heal myself. I had no plans of taking this anywhere at that point. So I did the things that they tell you to do. And I cleaned up my diet at about a 60%.
Anything had to be better than what it had been.
Yes.
So whatever it became was a big improvement from peanut M&Ms and Coca-Cola.
Yeah. So I cleaned up my diet and I started to minimize the toxins. And that was really kind of my initial focus. And it moved the needle. I mean, obviously from where I was at, it moved the needle. But the more I was on that train of more functional medicine and holistic medicine and learning more and more and more and implementing and doing all the things. And I tried meditation and acupuncture and essential oils and yoga and coffee. And so like I was doing everything and nothing was working. Nothing was moving the needle. Like I got to a point where my health got better.
Right. But you still had Hashimoto's and it wasn't being treated, right? So that's why you got to a certain plateau and couldn't.
Yeah.
So how did you find the doctor who listened to you and diagnosed this?
So what had happened was I really started to look at what was missing and realizing that we are a whole being, mind, body, spirit. And it was the, again, fancy medical science term called emotional sludge that I had not addressed. And that was what moved the needle, because I did all the things and not realizing that, little T's, little A's, the adverse childhood events.
Adverse childhood events. A lot of people don't know what that is. Those
adverse childhood events. Yeah,
which means trauma in your childhood. And I need to say that women with breast cancer, I was talking about this trauma, and one woman got very upset and said, "Well, I've never had anything traumatic happen to me." And I said, "Okay, well, let's change the word trauma for upsetting experiences." Yeah. And she went, "Oh yeah, I've had a lot of those." And she started to tell me what they were. And I said to her, "So this is," and you and I have just been talking, "a frog in warm water," which means the story of that, ladies, and this is a true medical fact. If you put a frog in warm water and you gradually increase the temperature, the frog will boil to death. So for this woman, and this is very true for women with breast cancer, you adjust, and women without breast cancer, it's just very true in general. And it's a self-protective mechanism that you adjust to upsetting traumatic abuse experiences in childhood. And then, so it's coping, but as an adult, those coping mechanisms are not in your benefit to move forward for a healthy, happy life. So then begins the work of recovering from that trauma. So a lot of women don't even begin that work until their 40s, because you don't need to until your life starts to sort of not work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I was bullied as a child. So, I have loving parents who love me to the ends of the earth, but having that experience from tiny up. And, I think that was the biggest one in terms of childhood. But yeah, really looking at just a lifetime of the emotional sludge and starting to peel the onion one layer at a time. And that was really when the needle started to move. And leaning into my mother's life mantra of it builds fortitude. And the more I got into really addressing those emotional components, and even back to the place of being an overachiever, being a perfectionist, all of these things stem from that place of a child needing validation. So it's a holistic look at kind of going back and addressing that. And when I started like really leaning into her life mantra of it builds fortitude, it's like, what is the it? Because I don't think it means staying strong. And when I leaned into her legacy, thinking about how she showed up every single day, despite everything going on in her life, it was from a place of gratitude and a grateful heart and a loving heart. And that was when I really started to put the pieces together, that it was the gratitude that builds fortitude, which is now, as I like to say, this is the hill I die on, because I scream this from the mountaintops.
You do.
The gratitude, that loving heart, it raises your energy, it raises your vibration. It just brings you to a place of looking at life from solutions instead of problems. And it also is scientifically proven to help you build mental resilience. And not mental resilience from a place of I'm staying strong. It's mental resilience from a place of I'm going through this now and I can get through this. I have that mental strength to get through this. But I'm also building the neurons that fire together, wire together. And I'm building that mental resilience so that for the next time, because this is life, right? Like, we think, oh, breast cancer, this is as bad as it gets. And it may be the worst thing ever in our lives, or there may be something
and
else,
maybe not, you
right?
don't never know.
But this is life. There is always going to be stuff that happens, big, medium, or small. So that mental resilience isn't just being able to get through the tough times. It isn't just being able to get through, breast cancer and then after breast cancer. It is having those neurons in your brain permanently wired together so that the next time something happens, you respond in an automatic place of calm instead of the crazy emotions. You respond in a place of loving compassion instead of anger, right? You respond in a place of being peaceful and centered. And when I put all of these like puzzle pieces together, and I was like, this is it. Like, this is it. And that's why I just, like I said, I've got a podcast, the Gratitude Builds Fortitude Podcast. Like, I scream it from the mountaintop every single day about the power of gratitude. But here's a couple things. So many people, they look at gratitude from this place of like this kind of airy fairy, and it's just, oh, I'm supposed to be grateful and I make a list of 3 things. And I always like to say my spouse, my house, my kids, my dog, my spouse, my house, my kids, my dog. Even if you don't have a spouse, house, kids, or dogs, like, it's just, we all kind of get sucked into this cycle of people tell you to make a list of 3 things, and then they kind of just like walk away. Like,
and then what? And those are the top 3 things. Those are the external 3 things, right? And as you know, and we all know, that we got to look underneath the hood, so to speak, right?
Right. And you read any single article and it talks about reducing stress, or it talks about gratitude, and it's always going to say make a list of 3 things or 5 things or 10 things, or however many that number is, and then that's it.
And then what? And then what do you do with that?
Right. And then you do it and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, wait for the doorbell to ring, like pizza delivery or something, like Uber Eats showing up, here's your gratitude. And it's got so many scientific benefits to help us. It helps us to, those are the grateful gratitude practice. They help us to exercise more, to lower blood pressure, to have fewer stress-related illnesses, to increase years, like up to 7 years of our lives, to build a healthier, stronger immune system.
I was just about to say, it increases your immune response.
Yes. And to lower that stress response. And that was where I was at. And that's why I wasn't healing, was because my stress response was up here. Like it wasn't even here. It was extra. And to be able to take the emotions and that emotional sludge, right? And I like to think of it like, and I'm sure like probably 100% of the hands, clogged drains, right? Whether it's in the bathtub or I like to think of a sink. And we're going to get a little gross here, but this is real. This is where we're at. And this is what our emotions look like, is when you think about if you have a clogged sink and you wake up in the morning, right? You go and you turn on the sink and you're brushing your teeth. And, and even though you turn on the water just a little bit, like it still kind of fills up because that drain's not running. The drain is clogged. And, so you're brushing your teeth and now you've got suds in that water. And, you got like that piece of dinner,
okay. For now, suds and junk is good enough description.
Right. You got all this like crap in
the sink around,
floating around. And this is what you're waking up to every single day.
Yuck.
That's what I call the emotional sludge. And when we start to look at, our healing from that, from the 360, from the holistic perspective, it's not just the food and it's not just the toxins and it's not just, the exercise and everything like that. It is also stress and emotions and clearing that drain so that those emotions can run through us instead of just getting stuck, instead of just saying, I'm going to be stuck, which also helps to create a disease state. And especially from a cancer perspective. And I know, Carol, I know you talk about this, is it's not just from a place of getting through treatment, but it's also creating an environment so that cancer doesn't come back. I mean, the statistics of, and I don't know specifically, but I know that they are alarming about the number of individuals who have the cancer come back. And it's primarily due to the fact that environment that was hospitable to the cancer is still there. So we need to create an environment that is hospitable to good health instead.
Right. And the risk of recurrence is greatest in the first 2 years. So what that is indicative of is that the medical treatment, medical oncology, it didn't work. And either that's because it wasn't the right form of treatment, or, as you just said, the environment where the cancer was growing didn't change. So I think that, Holly and I are very much in alignment. I mean, a cancer diagnosis is a wake-up call where your body and your mind are saying, hi, what you think is a happy life, no matter how great you think it is, something is out of balance. And it's an opportunity to really do a deep dive and clean those drains out and clear the sludge and really do a 360 holistic perspective. Because from the outside, it may look great. I mean, I've had women who come to me, I'm sure you've seen this, where on the outside, they have, big houses, they have jewelry, they have clothes, they have the spouse, they have the whatever. And then inside, we have a sludge moment. And whether you have all those financial trappings or not, we can all get sludge built up in our life. And it's very important. When you have a clogged sink, you don't think you're going to fix it yourself. You call a plumber.
Yep.
Right? So, Holly, this is so wonderful. You wanted to share a meditation with the community, which I am very much appreciative of. I think meditation, if you're having a complex, if you're not feeling well, meditation has the ability to shift, even if it's only 10 or 20%, if not 100%. A little shift sometimes make a big difference in the messaging that you're giving your mind, right, and your body.
And I really like to do more active meditations, because especially the women I work with have a lot of brain fog and the monkey mind running laps. So the meditation that I do is a little faster and it's a little more active.
Wonderful.
And then I also like to, before we start, I also just like to give a preview of what it is. I've also found that women don't like to be surprised.
No, whatever. You're the boss. You do
Yeah.
whatever. You know
So
what
what
works.
we're going to do, and I like to use gratitude as at the top of the food chain to really be in that place of that loving, grateful heart, and gratitude being who you become versus what you do. And also gratitude from a place of the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? You can be grateful through it all. So this meditation is called the Stones of Gratitude meditation. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk down. You can create your own visualization. And then we're going to have 3 stones in our pocket, small, medium, and large. So we're going to start with the small one. And these stones are what is coming up for us, what has been holding us back, whether that's anger or fear or something with your doctor, something with your treatment, whatever that is, that feeling of that kind of emotional sludge that's really been holding you down, that's been that anchor. We are going to take those stones and we're going to release that. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So obviously, if you're driving, don't close your eyes.
Right.
But if you are in a place where you are safe to just close your eyes and just quiet your mind. And what we're going to do is just be in a comfortable position. And I want you to take some big, deep belly breaths. We're just going to tell our body and our brain that we're safe. I want you to feel yourself as you breathe in and out. Just breathe in and out naturally. Just take some big, deep breaths from your belly. And I want you to tell yourself that you're safe. I want you to tell yourself that you're loved. And I want you to fill yourself as you breathe in. Fill yourself with peace and love. And as you exhale, I want you to recycle that peace and love. So as you inhale, it recycles back into you. And with your next exhale, I want you to recycle that love and fill up the place that you're in, whether you're watching this from home or maybe at work, whatever building you're in. I want you to fill up the environment, everyone that is there with you. Just fill them with love. Fill everyone on this phone call, everyone on this Zoom call. Just fill with love. And as you breathe in and breathe out again, I want you to recycle that love back to yourself. So I want you to think about one of your favorite places. It can be the beach, it can be the woods, somewhere in nature. Just put yourself there. Look around. Look around and see what's around. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you feel? What's the temperature like? Should be not too hot, not too cold, just the perfect temperature. You can feel the sunlight just gently kissing your cheeks. Maybe feel a warm breeze. If there's trees, you can hear the breeze through the trees. Maybe there's water nearby, but you can hear the water as well. Maybe there's birds singing. You can hear the birds singing. And just take all of it in. And I want you to walk. It is safe to walk. Just walk and take all of this in. And as you're walking, I want you to pause for a moment because something feels heavy. And you reach down in your pocket and you feel 3 stones. They're 3 different sizes. One is really small, one's a little bit bigger, and one's a little bit bigger. Each one's a little bit larger than the next. And you take out the smallest stone. You hold it in your hand. I want you to feel it. What does it feel like? Look at it. What does it look like? What are the colors on this stone? Is it smooth? Is it rough? How big is it? What color is it? And I want you to think about, what is the smallest thing that you want to let go of today? What is something that's difficult that you're going through, or maybe an emotion that's been a little too much, or maybe a limiting belief? What is that first small thing that you want to get rid of? Name it. Be very specific. I want you to look at this stone and name exactly what you want to let go of today. And the stone tells you that it's ready to go back home. The stone is ready to go back to the earth where it belongs. And even though the stone represents something that's difficult, you still want to honor that. So you look around for the perfect place to put the stone back to the earth, back home. And when you find the perfect spot, you stop and you say thank you to the stone. Even if it's hard, even if it's difficult to say thank you. Say thank you for all of the lessons that you taught me. Thank you for everything that I've learned because of you. Thank you for allowing me to become who I'm supposed to come. Thank you. Now, it's time to let go of the stone. And you may still feel a little angry. You may want to throw the stone down, or maybe you still want to hang on to it, or something in between. But you're ready, and the stone is ready. So take a deep breath. Fill yourself with love. Gently bend down and gently place the stone on the earth where it belongs. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to learn and to grow. Thank you for opening up the space so I can fill it with abundant blessings in my life. And you straighten yourself up. You stand up and you look forward and you realize you're standing a little taller. Your shoulders are back a little bit more. Your head is up a little higher. You actually feel a little stronger. So I want you to take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to continue to walk down the path. And when you're ready, reach into your pocket and pick out that second stone, the next biggest stone. I want you to hold it in your hand and look at it. What color is this one? Is it the same color or a different color? How much bigger is it? Is it smooth or is it rough? And I want you to think about the next thing that you're ready to let go of today. Whether it's an emotion that you've been feeling, or a difficulty, or maybe some fear, some anger, whatever that is, maybe it's a limiting belief. Whatever that is, I want you to name it. Be very specific. Look at the rock and be very specific. Name what it is that you're ready to let go of. And the stone tells you, the second stone tells you that it is ready to go back home. And you want to honor that. You want to honor that. So you look around for the perfect spot to take this stone back to its home, back to the earth. And when you find that spot, you're ready to let go. You look at the stone and you say thank you. Thank you for all of the lessons that you taught me. Thank you for everything that I've learned because of you. Thank you for allowing me to become who I'm supposed to become because of you. Thank you. And again, you might feel a little anger, like you want to just throw the stone down, or maybe you feel like you're not ready to let go of it yet, that you just want to hang on to it a little bit longer. But the stone tells you that it's okay. It's time for it to go back home. So you gently bend down and you place the stone on the ground. And you say thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to learn and grow. Thank you for opening up this space so I can fill it with abundant blessings in my life. And you stand up and you feel even taller this time. Your shoulders are back a little more. Your head's up a little. You've got a bigger smile on your face. You feel more confident. You actually have a lighter step as you walk. And I want you to take another deep breath in. And as you walk down the path, reach into your pocket find that last stone. This is the biggest one. I want you to hold that stone in your hand. Take it out of the pocket and hold it in your hand. Might actually need both hands because it might be a little bit heavier. It's the biggest stone. Look at it. What color is it? What's the texture like? Is it smooth? Is it rough? Does it have certain markings on it? Is it the same color as the other one, or is it a little bit different? How much heavier is this one? So I want you to think of the biggest thing that you're ready to let go of today. Whether it's an emotion or fear, anger, an event that happened, maybe some resentment, maybe some bitterness, maybe a difficulty with an individual or a situation. Whatever it is, I want you to name it. Be very specific. Look at the rock and name that third thing that you're ready to let go of. And after you name it, I want you to look around. So this is the biggest rock. So I want to make sure you find a very special place, because this rock, it is ready to go back home. It tells you it's ready to go home. It wants to go back to the earth. And you find that special place for this rock to go. And as you bend down to return it back to the earth, say thank you. Thank you for all of the lessons that you taught me. Thank you for everything that I've learned because of you. Thank you for all of the opportunities. Thank you for all of the abundant blessings that have come into my life. Thank you for allowing me to become who I'm supposed to become. Thank you. And this one might be the hardest one to let go of, or this may be the one that you want to throw down the hardest. But either way, the stone says, it's okay. It's ready to go back home. So you let it go. And you say thank you. Thank you for opening up this space so I have all of the abundant blessings in my life. And as you stand up this final time, you're walking lighter than you have in a long time. Your stride is longer. Your head is higher. You've got more confidence. Your heart just feels lighter. Your heart has so much more love in it. Everything around you, as you look around, the colors are more vivid. There's more love in your heart. There's more joy in your heart. There's more happiness in your heart. And you are in gratitude for what you have been through, for who you are, and for who you've become. And this completes the Stones of Gratitude meditation. I will count back from 5. And when I reach the count of 1, you'll be wide awake, feeling wonderful and in perfect health, with more love in your heart and feeling better than before. Until 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
So wonderful.
Thank you.
Really. That's a transformative moment and a beautiful gift Holly has just shared with all of us ladies. Thank you, Holly. Really, so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
So tell the community how we can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. I hang out on Instagram. That's where I play these days. Holly.
I know. Wait, I just have to say, Holly puts everybody else's videos to shame.
Oh my goodness.
Her videos are so upbeat and so great. And she really takes difficult topics and she uses humor and really gets you to think about, hey, what about that? So to find Holly on Instagram, go ahead.
Yeah, it's holly.bertone, Bertone. And yeah, if you want to hit me up with a DM as well and say hello, I answer. I have a team, but I'm the one who does my social media. So.
And how do we? You DM you there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
And then the second place is the Gratitude Builds Fortitude Podcast. So. Episode, I can't remember. It's in the 30s. Is my breast cancer story. There's like 70 some episodes now. Yeah, and actually this week is exciting. I'm actually going to share my divorce story, and how gratitude was put to the test. So if you want to tune in this Friday, it's going to be a big one.
And I think what you just said is really important. It's like we have these concepts and they're great. It's like you have to work hard. You just have to get through it. You have to work hard. And it's just like this phrase out there, like gratitude builds fortitude. But then when you're really put into a difficult moment in your life, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, this is what this means. This is how I need to use my belief of gratitude building fortitude. And bless your mom for that gift to like transform and walk through the fire to come to the other side as you so clearly have.
Yeah. So.
For both all the illnesses and your recent divorce. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So those are the two best places. And then if you want to find me on the website, I actually have a quiz that you can find out your gratitude personality, which is a lot of fun. And that's
great.
Yeah, that's pinkfortitude.com/quiz. So it's super easy to remember, pinkfortitude.com/quiz.
Be nice if I could spell pinkfortitude.com/quiz. Pinkfortitude, I spelled it correctly.
Okay.
Holly, thank you so much. Now, ladies, you know why Holly is one of my dear friends, because she's such a beautiful being, and our whole concept of transforming breast cancer through it and afterwards and really reclaiming your life, we're very much in alignment. We have different phrases, but the underlying concept are very much in alignment and supportive of each other's work. So happy to have you here.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for all the work that you do for this amazing community, and just to be the light and to give hope and healing. I wish that you were in my world when I was going through all of this.
I try to be in every woman's world when they're going through it. And you are in everyone's world now. I mean, we both are working really hard to expose women who are going through it. You need to take both medical oncology and what we do to come through this in as one, not only in one piece, but healthier, stronger, and better than ever. That's what I believe is possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here, Holly. We'll be in touch. And ladies, this has been a really deep and wonderful interview with wonderful Holly Bertone. And you know how to reach her now. And I hope you take advantage of her, the lightness of her being, and what she does is unsurpassed. That's all for now. And there'll be more later. Bye for now.